Fantasy Brain!
What's up, Brainiacs? My name is Matthew Kahan, also known as the host of the LeatherBrainz podcast, and today we are going to be bringing you another fantasy film breakdown. Today we're going to be covering an intriguing prospect, wide receiver from Missouri, Luther Burden III. Luther Burden has been a huge topic of conversation this offseason and even last offseason as he entered this past year in college football as probably the highest rated wide receiver. He went in, and a lot of people expected him to be drafted within the top 10 of the NFL draft before this college football season started. Then he came out this year, didn't have that great of a year. So we're going to be looking into some of his film. Today, we're going to be covering the South Carolina game, just that game. He had a pretty solid game, had a 91 yards and a touchdown. So there should be a lot of action for him in this game. But looking at some of his intangibles, he is going to come into this league at 21. At 22. Turns 22 actually in a week here. He's 5'11", 205 pounds, but does come out as a junior. Looking at his production, his obvious best season was his sophomore year back in the 2023-2024 season, where he had 86 receptions for 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns. And that really propelled him to get in those talks of being a top 10 draft pick and being the receiver one in this class going into the season. And I'll be honest with you, from what I've seen through highlights and through just watching the game through games through the entire season, I love Luther Burden and what he can bring to the table. I think he has a great NFL skill set. And, when you look at the decrease in production going into this year, where he had 61 receptions, 676 yards, and only 6 touchdowns, which is obviously a huge decrease from his sophomore year. There's a lot of things that go into that. You get, Brady Cook going down for a couple games, who, when you lose your quarterback, it's kind of tough to, gain momentum and to keep putting together some great stat lines. But Burden is a great player. He can really profile as more of a slot receiver. Obviously, he's more of a smaller gadget type receiver, but he's been a top prospect for most of his career. And on top of that, he also hasn't had a crazy injury history. So he has been able to stay on the field and play most of the games throughout his college career so far. So that's definitely, a good sign. And looking at some of his college awards as well, he was a semifinalist for the Blitnikoff in 2023, and he was an All-American as well in 2023. So, very highly touted prospect in Luther Burden, and I'm excited to see, what he can bring to the table today. So let's definitely check it out. Again, we're going to be watching this South Carolina game, and so let's just get right into it. Here we go. This Missouri offense, they were a solid team this year. It's a little shocking that Burden didn't have as good of a season, but I'm really curious to see what we see out of him today. He also just looks like such a great player, and he wears my favorite number, so gotta give him some love there. Couple run plays, nothing crazy so far. He's getting put in motion on this play, which is going to be pretty common just because, again, he's a gadget guy. They're going to be able to use him in a ton of different ways, and I think that's the appeal to him, in the NFL. All right. So you got a solid route right here. Let's go back a little bit. So you got him right here. Little drag route over the middle, nothing crazy. I actually thought he was the guy up top. Some of these guys look the exact same, but I'm excited to see what he can do in terms of his intermediate route game, just because I've seen the long game and I've seen the short game, but not as much the intermediate game. A lot of short passes so far in this offense, not as many developing plays. Got a little bit of a crossing route right there. Now, one thing that is interesting is they haven't been pressing him really at all. So clearly he does, they are scared a little bit of him getting past them on the release point. We'll see if we can see any great plays. Kind of got pushed around right there on the block. Nothing crazy, but let's see. No catches so far in this game, but let's see. Here we go. See, it's like routes like this, it's nothing special. Like, this is a very common NFL route, a little curl route into the seam. It's a classic zone beater, but the pressure gets to him, so he has to roll out right. I mean, I haven't seen anything so far in this video, bad or good, to be clear, so far in this first minute and 30 seconds. His blocking looks like, he wants to attack it. He just doesn't look like he's really strong enough to probably be able to handle NFL corners and linebackers. All right, first little catch for him right here. Little out route. gets open. Now, so this is exactly what I think is going to be his bread and butter in the NFL. The short game, he's going to rack up receptions. He's going to be that quarterback's best friend in the short game. And I think that's where he can take it because right here, obviously, you have two defenders right here, and you don't really have much space to run. So there's not much he can do here, but getting him the ball and then letting him make moves is exactly what his skill set is going to be in the NFL. I actually like that route from him right there, but we got a little play action. Kind of gets clamped right there on the crossing route. Coming in motion right here. Again, haven't seen anything crazy so far yet. Obviously, he did have a little bit of a down year, but I do know this is also one of his better games. So, okay. Okay. All right. He's running in circles here. So we got a little design screen pass to him, kind of gets blown up. Now, you'd like to see him, I guess, get around this guy. So he tries to make a play. He might have been able to go around, but again, he's going to try to make plays, which is exactly what you kind of want to see out of a receiver with his skill set. So you can't complain with that type of play. That's just the risk you run. Another quick out route and then a quick cut back in. Good tackle by the cornerback right here. So he comes up, out route out, cuts back inside. Corner makes a nice play, but again, he's going to break those a lot more consistently than people think. They double teamed him right there, but didn't really get as much separation as I would have liked to see on that route. Now, the thing about Luther Burden that I think I like the most is his twitchiness. And I'll get into that in a little bit, but just the way that he moves as a player is it's very twitchy, it's very hard to read, it's quick cuts, change of direction very quickly, and it makes it really hard to defend him. Yep. So on this play right here, I mean, he just is not getting any separation. On this play right here, he's running a little bit of an out route. There's just nothing crazy about this route, but South Carolina is doing a really, really good job on him so far throughout this film review. Good ball by Brady Cook to the outside. And again, he is lining up majority of the time in the slot. Um, but it's like it just looks like his route tree is so limited by this Missouri offense. Like they're not putting him on like difficult routes or things that are going to let him make that cut and let the defender try to fall for it on the way forward. These are just very basic plays, and I think that's gonna be the thing is, was he underutilized at Missouri? He was kinda open there, but again, that's just a simple zone beater right there. Cornerback reads the route perfectly there, and that's the thing that I've been noticing also about this offense is that they're so scared almost of the deep ball that it's like, look at this corner right here. So he's playing so far off. I mean, he's 8 yards behind the line of scrimmage at this point, and he's playing significantly far off of him, letting him have this out route right here. So it's kind of impossible for him to go up the sideline and do that double move, but I don't think he's gonna get that same treatment in the NFL. I think they're gonna be more willing to put him closer because they don't wanna give up that easy 5 to 7 yard catch every single play. Got a Hail Mary. That was an awful play right there. I don't even know why even put that in the film. Again, I'm not too impressed so far, which is definitely a little bit disappointing, just because of how, high of a prospect he is rated and how excited I am. Here we go. Okay, little jet sweep to the right, makes one guy miss, makes two guys miss. Nothing crazy here, but um, make a nice play out of the backfield, and they're willing to give him the ball, which is exactly what I think is the importance of, a player like him and the situation that he lands in. Let's say he lands to a team like the Texans, who knows? Who knows what his potential is in a slot and being the slot receiver at a CJ Stroud led offense. So I think with a player like Burden, it is going to matter a lot with draft position. If he lands to a team with a great quarterback, a quarterback that likes to check it down, that has a high completion percentage, he's really going to thrive in that offense. And it's going to matter. Is he going to be taken in the late first round or is he going to go in the second round? That draft capital is always the difference. Oh, I think this is on first round pick, potential first round pick, Nick Emanuarie, I think is how you pronounce it. But you have Burden right here. One on one, this is unfair. And this is where the hype comes. And I know this is like we're 6 minutes into the video and we haven't seen really anything at this point. But this is the type of play where it's, man coverage right here. He's not pressing him directly, but he's pretty close. He just makes a nice quick move, and look how much he gets him. He thinks he's going to the outside, but he cuts right in. And this is an easy touchdown if he hits him here. But again, that's great route running right there, and it's exactly what you want to see out of a player like Burden. His hands have looked very natural so far as well. I mean, you look at right here, three guys cut astride him, nice little catch over the middle using his hands, not his chest, and that's exactly what you want to see out of a receiver. He hasn't had any drops so far, and I don't believe he had a huge drop problem. He has always had pretty solid hands. He's had some crazy one-handed catches in his time, so I'm not entirely worried about his hands. But again, where is the spectacular catch ability is, the question mark. It's like they play so far off of him. Another pass to him right there. I mean, again, so far it's like a ton of little plays right here coming out of the backfield, and it's like it seems like such an awful game, but again, this is each point is a point, each catch is a point in fantasy. So in PPR leagues, that's gonna be okay if he only has, on a bad game, 6 catches for 45 yards. That's still getting you a pretty solid performance. Oh, okay. We got the deep ball right here. I think this was him. Coming deep over the deep middle. Cornerback falls, tries to bring him down. Nice little catch right there. Very solid play. Again, he is a very prolific deep ball receiver. And when you run in the 4-4s, it's it's definitely easy to have a nice deep ball or have a nice deep route running skill tree, especially if you have the speed and you have the twitchiness to get open on those safeties, because it's all about those one cuts. The safety is going to be playing over top. And so you got to figure out, especially in a one safety view, you got to figure out which way you're going to cut, because he's going to be facing one way. And so really about the IQ when it comes to deep route running, especially when you don't have the top end speed. Another catch out of the backfield. And South Carolina, to be honest, is really taking him out. I mean, there he is not getting past. No, I don't even know who number 7 is. Maybe that's Nick Maria or whatever his name is, but he's looking great. And here's the play. Yep, that's the signature play right there. This is exactly the type of play that we want to see. A little slot fade to Burden. He gets some separation. Let's see this catch. One-handed catch in the breadbasket of his left hand. That's a great throw and pass interference. And then he shoves the defender to the side and finishes the play for a touchdown. That's the exact type of play that we want to see out of Burden and why we're excited about him as a prospect. I want to see it in real time one more time. He doesn't have too much separation, but it's like he has good ball tracking skills, and that will transform very well once he gets to the league. Really nice play right there. Ooh, he shifted him right here. All right, look at this play right here. So the ball didn't go to him, but he's in the slot. Right as he has him, the corner is trying to catch up to him, and look how much space there is in the middle of the field. Again, he is a man beater. At the end of the day, he's going to be a man beater when it comes to man coverage, and then he's going to be a gadget guy behind the line of scrimmage. He's not the best zone beating guy. He doesn't have that type of skill set to just find the open zone, but that's okay. He's not that all around, receiver. He probably doesn't have that top 3 upside in the NFL. But I do think he has the upside to be a very good receiver every single year and be in around the, 8 to wide receiver 8 to 15 range if he hits his peak. Look at this break that he's about to have. The corner falls down and he's wide open right here. It's just like when you have a guy like this who can cut so cleanly and who can cut horizontally and vertically so well, it's impossible to, he's a can't miss prospect in my eyes for that reason. It's just, is that production going to be consistent at the next level, especially when there's question marks? And so that's the end of this film. And again, we're only going to do one video for this one. He didn't have a great year. And, I think I will recommend, definitely go out and watch his highlights. Go watch some of his 2023 film. I love Luther Burden. I didn't see as much, you know, as what I would have liked to see in this video. I do think I enjoyed Matthew Golden's film a little bit more, but I think in terms of traits of an NFL player, Burden has everything. I think he'll be more successful in the NFL than in college. He's very athletic. He has great hands. He has a twitchiness that is unlike any other, and he has very solid route running in every aspect. It's just similar to Matthew Golden. It's about the consistency. Can he put it together consistently at all 3 levels of the field? The situation is going to matter a lot. I think right now I would have him ranked as my wide receiver 2 in the class behind Matthew Golden, which is, interesting. A lot of people are going to say Tet McMillan number 1. I have McMillan at number 3 actually. And so I like Burden a lot, especially again, we're talking fantasy here, not real life. And so I think Burden could be a guy where if he lands in a great offense, the Broncos could take him. Like that's another great team. The Cowboys in the second round could take a flyer on him. There's so many teams that might be willing to just take that flyer on him. You got the Raiders as well. I'm trying to think of some other teams, but this guy has a lot of untapped potential. I think in the right system, he could be great. So I like Luther Burn a lot. It'll be interesting to see where he gets drafted, but that'll end off today's fantasy film breakdown. Again, make sure to follow us on all of our social medias at LeatherBrainz. We really hope you enjoyed this one. Let me know in the comments what other things you'd like to see. If you'd like to see highlights, if you'd like to see more game film, whatever it might be, let me know, and we will definitely get that covered. Make sure to also check out some of our recent episodes. We have the Omari and Hampton one done last weekend. We had Caleb Johnson going out a couple days ago as well, so definitely make sure to check those out. Really hope everybody enjoyed, and we're out.
3, 2, 1.
Got a blast!
Thanks for checking out the Fantasy Brains. Don't miss next week's episode, Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern. See you next week, Brainiacs.